We talked about your body of evidence, lay witnesses, expert witnesses, documentary evidence, and demonstrative evidence. Now, your lay witnesses, you want to find everyone, because this is the evidence. You want to find everyone who was present at the scene, especially neutrals who were present at the scene. Because neutrals, people that stopped to help, the Good Samaritans, people who are in the neighborhood who just happened to be around there, you want to find everybody who was at the scene, everybody whose name appears on the police report or on the EMT record, anybody that got a statement from at the scene, and you want to talk to everybody, and you want them to testify to what they witnessed at the scene of the physical pain and the mental anguish of your clients. A very good source, it's hard to lose on this one, the defendant was always at the scene. The other driver, always asked the defendant driver to describe the physical pain, to describe what did the plaintiff, did you see the plaintiff? Yes, what did the plaintiff look like? Tell us what Mr. Jones looked like. What was he experiencing? And if they try to downplay it, they look bad. If they tell the truth about it, if they describe all that pain, then you've got the best witness you can have on that, which is the other side. But the one I had where the fellow had the fender of the car impaled into his leg, it was an 18-wheeler. And this is what you'll get from 18-wheeler drivers. I asked the driver, I said, now, did you call when were you knocked unconscious? No, I wasn't. Tell us, did you call 911 to report this when it happened? He said, no. I said, well, did you get out of the car immediately to go help him? He said, no. I said, did you make another phone call? Is that why you didn't get out of the car or your truck? And he said, yeah. I said, well, who did you call? The same people they're always instructed to call. I called our investigator. I called our investigative team so that they could dispatch our investigative team to the scene immediately. So your immediate response was not to call 911 to help the man, and he's looking down. He could see from his windshield. He could see through his windshield. He could see the plaintiff. I said, so you made no effort to call to get. You could see. Was he in pain? And tell us what he was suffering? He said, well, he looked okay. Okay. Did you ever get down and go down? No. Did you witness them take him? Yeah. And so then I had him describe how they let him describe the whole process of how they had to go through and how they extricated him and so forth. Okay. You lay witnesses. You want family and friends and the person we use the least, incidentally, the person we use the least is the plaintiff. You don't want the plaintiff to be talking about their pain and suffering unless there's no other way to prove it. But you heard Eric talk about how the dumbest thing is they fail to do this and they fail to do that. You're right, obviously. But you don't say the doctor failed to do this. You say the doctor chose to do this. And you present it as a positive. And you present it as a positive because that way it resonates with the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind sorts out positive and negative and just sorts the negatives to the side, does not register negative. So if you want to communicate with the unconscious mind, you communicate in the positive. So what you're doing here is you want the family and friends to be the one that will be complaining about what he can no longer do that he could do before, the physical pain, the mental anguish. All these people are testifying. What the plaintiff testifies about is not what's wrong with him. It's not that I'm hurting here and I'm hurting here and I can't do this. What you want him to testify to is his courage. He wants to be presenting a position of courage. Here's what I'm doing now. Well, why are you doing that? Well, because I can't walk on this leg, or I can't get used to this. But it's not, again, it's just pure courage on his part. In my opinion, that's the best way you can project a plaintiff, is courage. Everybody else is projected. Everybody else proves up the pain and suffering, mental anguish, because you've got to overcome the jury bias where they don't believe the plaintiffs. and you need to create so you don't want a whining plaintiff. That's the worst thing you can have on the stand is a whining plaintiff. But it's hard for the defense to deal with a plaintiff who is just simply telling the story of his courage, the courage that was involved. Now, you want to look for your healthcare providers as witnesses, your rehab team, your life care planners. Then on your documentary and demonstrative evidence, here's how we approach it. Number one, what's available? Everything that's available in terms of documentary evidence for each element of damage, anything we can find.